Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the video. So good to see you. Yeah, today we're going to talk about Rhino and Rhino vinyl, basically Rhino with Kevin Gray. And when he was at Acoustic and when he's over at Coherent. So we've got two records. This one is the one that was made at RTI, and the other one is pressed at Optimal. Okay, but this one's RTI, and it's from '09. Kevin Gray cut it at Acoustic when Acoustic was over at RTI, and I still got the outer sleeve on it. Nice gatefold cover. And it's on the, let's open this up, it's on the Swan Song label. The other one is, this is the new one, 2024 Rhino vinyl. And it's got the little OB on there, 180 gram, cut for the master tape by Kevin Gray at Coherent, like I said, but pressed at Optimal. And it's a 50th anniversary pressing, and there's limited to 5,000. This one is 3184, the cover. Best thing about this record is the packaging, man. Look, it's got the Stoughton tip-on, beautiful, thick gatefold cover. Look how nice even the inside artwork is compared to the other one. This is, I mean, whoever's responsible for this is a man after my own heart. This is, every record I wish had this cover. This is my favorite. This is the best cover that they make over at Stoughton. I think it was T for the Tillerman was the first record Stoughton ever produced with this style of cover. It was a new process that they had developed. And of course, Chad Casson wanted the best there could be, and that's the way he did it. He wanted to make that T for the Tillerman, the reissue of that, the best it could be. No expense was spared on that record, as he does with most of his productions. So, and it come with this inner sleeve, pretty nice inner sleeve. You know, it's cool. It's got the Rhino on the top. That's nice, and it's polyline, which is nice. And also, it comes with, on the other side of the gatefold, it's got an insert, and there's a copy of the master tape on both sides, and on the inside there's a bunch of information, and it shows the two labels. It was originally released on the Island label, that's the red one, in the UK and in Australia, and in Canada and the US it was on the Swan Song label. Okay, just like the '09 remaster that Kevin did at Coherent is on the Swan Song label. And now this one, it's on a Rhino label. They just made their own label. And I think most folks, we don't know why they do that, why they don't stick with the Swan Song or put it on the Island label, right? It's most likely got something to do with paying somebody a royalty. So if you want to go and you're reissuing that record and it's on a Columbia 2i, you want to use that Columbia 2i, you've got to pay Columbia for that. So it's probably why it's on, they made their own label, because they've got to pay someone, and maybe they couldn't even get the right to do it. We don't know why exactly, but this is what most people surmise. Okay, so how do these records sound now? What's the difference between the records? We know what the difference on the packaging is. The Rhino wins the packaging war. definitely. This is my favorite stuff, done to very high degree, very high quality stuff. And when I listen to these records now, when I listen to the records, first I put on the Rhino, and boom, I mean, there's just room filled up with sound, just exploded. And I hadn't heard this record for a while. But kind of going back from my memory, I remember when I got this record, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it should have sounded better. Just for some reason, it didn't explode with sound like I thought it should. Like a lot of those Rhinos did. This was, what year was it? 07, I think. 09. I think these came out in 09. I think that's when it was. I'm not sure if it's on here or not, but pretty sure this was 09. And of course, the new one is 2024. And this was coherent. I mean, this was acoustic, and that's coherent. But anyway, I was a little disappointed with the sound on it. I thought, and those, the 09, 08, the 10, the 11, when Rhino was doing this stuff, man, this was so much better than the classic records editions and all the ones that I had before. Whenever Rhino did a record, it was the best sounding ever. And but now, so I put the Rhino on first, and like I said, the thing exploded. Everything is sounding so good. I said, finally, I've got a hi-fi, beautiful sounding record. This is amazing. I'm hearing so much detail. I'm hearing everything sounds audiophile grade all the way. This is going to be great. So I listened to a couple songs. Then I put the 09 remaster on. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute, folks. Yeah, okay. I think I like this one better. Because it's kind of the same thing over again. Remember, we did the Black Sabbath Rhino compared to the UK pressing. And the Rhino was a little bit brighter. It didn't have more detail. It was just a little bit brighter, a little bit louder, and it was a little bit more forward. That's what the Rhino is doing again. The presentation is more forward, which means that the higher end is a little bit brighter. So it's more in your face, right? That's why they say it's forward, because now it's kind of, that high end's kind of pushing him, getting in my face a little bit. It's a little bit too much of a good thing. Not that it sounds bad or anything else, but what are you comparing it to, right? I'm comparing it to the 09 Kevin Gray remastered at Coherent. And so I liked, on the 09 now, I liked the way the voice sounded better. It actually sounded, in some parts, I'm hearing the breath of life in the voice, where I don't really remember it on the Rhino doing that. No, not that it sounded bad or it didn't have, really nice sound on the record. It just, I noticed here. And I noticed the cymbal work on this one was more natural. And the bass was good and tight and strong, just like the Rhino. But I'm thinking now I can listen. I like listening to this, where the Rhino is going to be a little bit fatiguing after a while because it's just a little bit too much. Kind of like the Black Sabbath record. So I got to thinking about this. Why? Let's just kind of go back to 07, because that's when Music Matters was making the Blue Notes, and that's when Chad Kasem was making the Blue Notes. And Kevin Gray was remastering them at Acoustech. And then he moved, kind of at the tail end of that whole deal, he moved to Coherent from Acoustech. in '09 or whenever it was, okay? So, Joe Harley was one of the ones that was the founder, helped the fellow over there. Joe Harley was responsible for the Music Matters. And of course, Chad was responsible for the acoustic sound stuff. And when, Joe Harley and Kevin Gray formed a relationship. So when Kevin Gray moved over to Coherent, he got Joe Harley to go over there and help him out, and they put all AudioQuest cables in there because that's where Joe Harley comes from. He's AudioQuest. And they put all AudioQuest cables in there, and they got some new equipment. Every time you move, you want to upgrade. You want to try to make the best you can. Like, that's what Kevin Gray always tries to do. How can I make the best record, the best master I can? So I did have the occasion how I compared an acoustic sounds Blue Note, AT's Delight it was. And he redid it for Blue Note. Now at the remaster, it was one of the classic series, I believe, and he did it at Coherent, right? So I've got the same. I got Kevin Gray, he's at Coherent, and I got Kevin Gray at Acoustech. One's on a 2LP45 and one's a 33 and a third. And the thing was about the 33 and a third, they quit doing the 45 RPM because when he was remastering now at Coherent, they sound a little bit better. But you know what? It was a little bit more forward. The saxophone, the trumpet, those instruments seem to be a little bit more forward, a little bit more in your face, but I liked it. It was providing more detail. It wasn't a fatiguing sound. It was more lively sound than now they were very close, don't get me wrong. The 45 RPM versus the 33, they were very, very close. And it wasn't apparent at first. I had to do quite a bit of listening because those 45 RPMs are great sounding. And so that's kind of where I noticed it was a little bit forward. And so maybe that's part of what we're hearing. The difference between Coherent and over at Acoustech, right? Obviously. But there's something more going on because it's a little bit too much. So why? And so we all know it's not always up to the mastering engineer exactly how that record is going to sound. He'll make a test pressing. He sends it to the people that are paying. The man who does the paying does the saying as it goes. So he sends it over there, and they ask him, "How do you like it?" And we know this a lot from like with Chad. Kevin will send him something, and 90% of the time he's going, "Man, it sounds fantastic. That's what we're going to go with." Other times it's like, you know what? It's a little bit too bright, a little too forward. What can you do? Mellow it down. He will. Or can you? What's wrong? It's kind of dead sounding. We need to get some life in it. So I'm surmising now because the Black Sabbath was the same way. Some folks over there at Rhino, maybe they're the ones that are doing the final analysis, what they think sounds better. And okay, so not that the records, that Rhino sounds really good. It's just, it's the kind of a thing where you get such a nice record, it's such a nice package, you've got such a beautiful cover, you want the thing to be better, you really do. And in going into it, I'm thinking that the '09, that one, I don't think I liked it as much when I first got it. That was what I remembered. And so obviously this Rhino is going to crush it, and I put it on and boom. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for, baby. Oh, finally, it's going to be this is so good. And then I compared it, and I preferred the '09. It was a little bit more relaxed, a little more breath of life in the voice, a little more, the cymbals weren't so bright. They sounded more natural. So, okay. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And don't forget to do all the cool YouTube stuff, right? Like, subscribe, and bye for now. Take care, everyone.